Hey. Well, it's a brand new day. My name is Ramon Ray, publisher of ZonersGenius.com, and this is The Rundown with Ramon. I'm so glad you're here today. All we ask is one thing and one thing alone, and that is 30 minutes of your time to give you the top 10 tips you need to build a better business, or even more importantly, at times, build a better life. Again, my name is Ramon Ray. Glad you're here. I've started 5 businesses, sold 3 businesses, authored 5 books, and I'm just getting started. What about you? I'm glad you're here today. Thanks for being here. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, watching this show, feel free to DM me on the Instagram and let me know if you have a tip, you have an insight, you have a suggestion, you have a strategy, you have something that's happened in your life. Let me know what it is, and I'd love to bring you into my world, to the Rundown with Ramon. So with that, shall we get started? Because we have so much to do today. Again, top 10 tips to help you live your best life or start or grow your business. And I want to start today by unpacking something from my friend Seth Godin. He talks about you have power. You have power. And I want to unpack this today. The title of his blog post that he writes is Unaware. If you don't realize you have power, yeah, that's you and me, you might not be able to exercise it. The power to speak up, to participate, to invent, to lead, to encourage, to vote, to connect, to organize, to march, to write, to say no, or to say yes. It's tempting to imagine we have less power than we do. It lets us off the hook for now. There's the famous story, and I think it's true. I'd like to think it's true. The elephant, that these are big grown elephants that can rip apart big buildings. And there's a little chain on their foot. They could easily rip that chain out. And the story goes that somebody asked the owner of the elephants, maybe they were in a circus, maybe they were there for tourism, who knows. But he asked him, why aren't they just ripping this chain off and going free? And the owner, the proprietor, the person who chained them said that, well, when they were small, we chained them. So the essence of it is they've been conditioned to keep the chains and shackles on. And what Seth Godin's unpacking, he hasn't said it quite like this, but I'm taking this from what he shared. Do you know the power that you have? Do you know your own power is the question of the day. If you don't realize that you have power, you might not be able to exercise it. So I want you to know today that, as my friend Dr. Jenny Lacey talks about often on her show on Breakfast with Champions, we do not have to live a life of abuse. We do not have to live a life of inferiority. We do not have to live a life of less than. We don't have to live a life of people talking down to us. We don't have to live a life of not being powered, disempowerment. Because we have the power. Now, some of you listening to this, you may be children. You may be in a place where you don't have power, at least externally, at least at this time. What can you do to take that power back? So I want to encourage you today, Seth Godin. Again, I'll read that top line. If you don't realize that you have the power, and I want you to know you do have the power. Hey, everybody, this is The Rundown with Ramon. Thanks for being here today. 30 minutes of your time to give you the top 10 things you need to live your best life or start or grow your business. Ding, 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 ding. This is what a $10 million vacation look like. This is what a $10 million vacation looks like. Reading this in the Wall Street Journal. Ricardo prides himself on making the impossible possible, but finding a mermaid at short notice was a stretch even for him, says the Wall Street Journal. This gentleman, Ricardo, spent 10 months planning a cruise inspired by Homer's The Odyssey, when his client, the elderly patriarch of a wealthy American family, requested a surprise for his 9-year-old daughter. Bottom line, he wanted a mermaid. So what did Ricardo do, this fancy, snancy travel agent? Well, for $350,000, he rented a submarine, put the mermaid in the submarine, had the mermaid waiting in the water with the submarine, and at the right timing, as the boat made a turn, the mermaid pops up, and the little girl had a sighting of a mermaid. Listen, maybe all you can do is a little birthday party if you're a child with some cake, some cupcakes, and a candle or two. That's okay. But isn't it interesting? Some people are blessed to have this money, and men of the wealthy work hard for their money. and they can put together these cool experiences. And what I'm reading here, it says an extensive reconnaissance and the most elaborate trips can easily reach $10 million. Now, I'm guessing every trip is not like this. This is not for everybody. Here it says here, occasionally a customer's request goes too far, even for a company used to saying yes. Once I got a guy whose big dream was to detonate a nuclear bomb, so he was turned away. But listen, I think it's interesting. We can all dream. What is your ideal vacation? What do you want to do? It's something to think about. Ding, 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 ding. Brands are loving LinkedIn. I don't know why, but this article talked about previously people hated LinkedIn. Maybe people didn't like the quote unquote lack of visualization and clickbait of the TikTok, the Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. I love LinkedIn. And thankfully, it's still a platform mainly for business users. But here's some things the article in Business Insider says. LinkedIn is boosting a record number of members with Gen Z driving user growth. Creators built followings with strong insights and brands are taking notice. Jasmine Enberg is a social media columnist for CMO Insider covering the companies. And it goes on to who's talking about this. So here's the thing. It says here, one of my favorite TikTok and Instagram creators, Jordan Davis, his workplace humor hit home for me. Now he's diving into LinkedIn, but I wonder, will that take away from the purity of LinkedIn for people who've had it for business? Are we going to see cat jokes and memes on fart jokes from college humor jokes all over LinkedIn? I hope not. But the bottom line is, if you're not on LinkedIn and you're serious about business growth, you're serious about growing your business, growing your brand, you're doing anything in the business world, you definitely need to be on LinkedIn. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be on TikTok or Snapchat or other platforms. Those platforms are growing in business audiences as well. But I am encouraging you and saying you you definitely should also build your LinkedIn community. Ding, 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 ding. Number 4, how to 10x your productivity. Our friends at Carrie Jack, C-A-R-Y, Carrie Jack, had an interview recently with mindset coach Mark Dama. And it talked about how to be better with your day. Mark shares the following entrepreneur performance habits that will blow your mind. We dive into the DAP billionaire formula, the hibernation protocol, the supercharged diet. So health has to do with productivity as well. Productivity scheduling, did I say? This doesn't happen by chance. Mindset mastery, mastering your mind and more. You definitely want to check this out. The aspect of being more productive doesn't always happen by chance. There is science to it, things you can do that will enhance your day or make your day absolutely terrible and not good. I wanted to bring up something else for you today. I wanted to listen to this insight that I was listening to, and I think it could be useful for you. I'm going to listen to it with you. Listen to this, and let's see if we can get this to play properly.
It is Friday. I've been thinking about making this video and not doing it for years. For 3 reasons. 1, I work too hard. It's a problem. Content like this tends to assume that everybody's gonna wanna have whatever the person making the content has. And like, I have a fine life, but there are lots of other great lives out there. 2,
so I want you to take note of this. You don't have to do what he's getting ready to say. You don't have to do this, but I want you to take note of this, take note of this, take note of this. And I'll try to find out who's doing this. I definitely want to attribute who did this. I'm using this with Creative Commons, though. Got permission to use it. But I want you to hear the nugget comes towards the end, but I want to unpack the full thing that he's saying here. I think it's very interesting. Listen here.
I am extremely lucky. One of the keys to productivity is having financial and mental and social stability, and I have all those things.
Yeah. When you have good productivity, a lot of other things in your life go well. When you don't have good productivity, you find that a lot of other things in your life are not going so well. Keep listening.
Lucked into it. 3, my secret to productivity, I'm not ashamed of it, I'm a little ashamed of it. Here it is. 80%. Everything creative I do my best to get it 80% of the way to as good as I can make it and go no further. I just don't try to get it to 100%. In every creative project, we have, in our minds and in reality, a place where it can get to where we will think it is the best.
Are you understanding that? Are you unpacking that? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you understanding that? It doesn't have to be perfect. So many times we're looking for things to be perfect, but the point is it doesn't always have to be perfect. That's what I want to get you to see. That's what I want to get you to understand. Stop trying to be perfect. Seth Godin talks about that because you can't be perfect. No one can be perfect. We can just be the best that we can be. Does that make sense to you? Let's all try to stop being perfect, but I encourage us all to be the best we can be each and every day. That's in essence how we'll be more productive, to be the best that we can be. Let's keep listening.
Like this, and we can keep pushing and tweaking until we get it right into the center there. And that seems like worthwhile. Get it as good as you can get it. But this is a lie in 4 different ways. 1, no one knows what best is. Best is subjective. It's one way in your head, but it's different in every person who's going to consume the thing that you make. And so it doesn't look like this. It looks like this. 2, not only are there different bests inside of everyone's heads, there are different categories of best. Like, I want my videos to do multiple different things. And sometimes if I want to do better at one goal, I'm going to have to pull away from another of my goals. 3, even if there are actually hard outlines to these things, I'm never going to be able to see it. Like, that's the future that's far away. I won't know until I get there.
Did you get that? Did you unpack that nugget? We can't see the future. We cannot see the future. So many times our goal of productivity is it has to be right. It has to be this goal in the future. But maybe instead of us trying to get everything exactly right, everything exactly perfect, we should instead focus on how can we do things just a little bit better. And this insight's coming from Vlog Brothers. I want to give credit to Vlog Brothers, VLOG Brothers. Maybe instead of us trying to see the end and making perfect everything we're doing, maybe as we're trying to improve our productivity, we take it a day at a time and we're willing to advance it differently. We're willing to advance it a little more slowly and then make micro or macro changes along the way. Keep listening. This is good. This is a nugget, as my friend Lamar Tyler would say. Keep listening.
The whole world is just me with my glasses off. I can't see anything. And 4, best is always changing. People's opinions and ideas are always changing, and so are mine. So trying to get 100% to the best that I can do, which is far away from perfect, is even that an impossible idea.
Breathe a sigh of relief. Does that make you feel a little bit better? Best is always changing. Breathe right now with me a sigh of relief. Again, if you're just joining, this is the Rundown with Ramon. 30 minutes of your time to give you the top 10 things you need to do to live your best life or start or grow your business. But I want you to have grace. I want you to give grace to yourself to stop this rat race of perfection because it is unattainable. Keep listening. This is good stuff.
Saying you can't increase your odds of getting into the bullseye. Yes, you can. That's what the 80% is about. But I am saying you'll never really know where you're gonna hit until you actually throw the dart. And if you spend a ton of time thinking about how you're gonna throw the dart and you never throw it, you might be doing a whole lot of work.
You gotta throw the dart. Seth Godin has taught me this, talks about this all the time. I'm not sure if his book is behind me, but he talks about in his book what to do when it's your turn. It's always your turn. Stop waiting for perfection, people. Stop waiting for perfection to come your way. It's not coming. Sometimes you just have to throw the dart, as Vlog Brothers says, and you may miss. If you miss, pick the dart up and throw it again and again and again and again and again. Isn't this what we learned from Kobe Bryant? Isn't this what we learned from Michael Jordan? Isn't what we learned from all the greats? Sometimes you just have to keep plodding along and moving along. Stop waiting for perfection, because as we're on the road to 10xing our productivity, sometimes 10xing our productivity is to make sure we're clearly defined on what productivity even means. Keep listening.
That isn't actually helping. So when I get to 80%, I throw the dart because I know that perfect doesn't exist. I know that the last 20% of getting to what I think is best is going to be like 90% of the work. And I know that 90% of what I'm going to learn doing that first 80% and releasing the thing and having it be out in the world. For me, those final tweaks, I'm not learning in.
Did you get that? Did you get that? It's got to be out in the world. Many times we're afraid of people seeing it before it's baked, before it's finished. My wife is a baker. A part-time baker, like not a chef at a big restaurant, but she likes to bake. And she puts stuff out and says, taste it. Do you like it? Maybe we don't like it. Maybe we do like it. And I don't eat a lot of her things. I'm just not into a lot of baked goods and stuff, but she gives it to friends once in a while. She'll have me taste it. I want to give full disclosure. And maybe it's not perfect the next time, the first time. And so she'll say, great, this wasn't perfect the first time. Let's add a bit of this, take away a bit of this, and we'll get it better and better and better. As Vlog Brothers says, make sure I'm crediting them right. Yes, Vlog Brothers says, throw the dart. If you hold the dart in your hand, I guarantee you will always miss the target. You will always miss the target. But if you throw it, there's a chance you'll hit it. And if you don't hit it, you can throw the dart again. Let's go.
Anything. I'm just scared. And maybe I am making it better, but also maybe I'm not. Now, stopping at 80% is hard, especially when your 100% isn't that good yet because you're new to whatever thing you're doing. And that's even harder when you have that one thing that cannot be.
Did you hear that? When you're new to things, keep in mind, when you're new to something, it's not going to be perfect right off the bat. And there's no perfect, I just said that. But you get my point. When you're just starting something, when something is new, that's when it gets a bit. So when you're new to it, give yourself more grace. You're just starting out. You're just starting out. Give yourself a high degree of grace. Let's keep listening.
Be taught good taste because you know how bad your thing is. But worse than that, and this is sort of a separate tip, you are gonna know the thing you create better than anyone else will ever know it. You're gonna know all of its imperfections, all of its issues, all of the things that it could have been, but it isn't.
And so since you know all the things, since you know what's going on, since this is what you did, you know where it missed. You know where you could have done better. Give yourself grace. Now, everybody else, you may have a few idiots in your life that are like just slamming you, putting their fingers at you. Ignore them. Put them to the side. But for most of us, we're going to be like, you launched. You started. Good job. Right? So take a look at that. You are your worst and best critic. Maybe it's time for you not to be so hard on yourself. Let's keep listening.
You're gonna see that flawed picture of the thing that you make, whereas when you look at something someone else made, you won't see those things. So your things are always going to look worse than other people's things. So in my mind, getting it done is success. Getting it perfect is not.
Did you hear that? Getting it done is success. Just taking the first step. That is success in and of itself. Just getting it done. You should cheer yourself for getting it done, not just cheering yourself for the success. Because the success will change. Again, I know I can hear my friend Adam Smith speaking about this, and his thing is, did you complete the mission? I think we can go both ways on this, but let me keep listening. Again, credit to Vlog Brothers for this amazing insight. Vlog Brothers for this amazing insight. My name is Ramon Ray, by the way, and this is the Rundown with Ramon. All we ask is 30 minutes of your time to give you the top 10 things you need to live your best life or grow your business, and this is part of our top 10 things. Let's go.
Especially because perfect doesn't exist. This is my secret to productivity, not just because it helps me do a bunch of stuff, but because it helps me learn a bunch of stuff, learn how to do new things, and get more data points as to what's working and what people like and what I like doing. And as I get to 80% of
part of the journey is the journey, especially for those of us in business, for those of us starting up, part of the journey is the journey. That's part of the journey is the journey. You can't just wait for the end to appear, but you have to be grateful. You have to be excited also about the progress, about the steps that it takes to get there. This is juicy, and I wanted to bring this to you today. Let's keep listening.
The best that I can do over and over again really fast, suddenly my new 80% is way better than my old 100% ever could have been. John, I'll see you on Tuesday. No, I'll see you tonight. Also,
that was amazing. Did you unpack that? Was that helpful for you? Did that help you breathe a sigh of relief that one, you don't have to be perfect. Two, we should just be launching. Once again, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon. I'm so glad you've taken the time to be with me today where we help you live your best life or grow your business. Ding, 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 ding. Let's get up to what is next. Yelp has an amazing small business survey out. Yelp, the people, well, most of you know Yelp. And here's the headline that I'm reading in Fortune. It says a lot of Americans sitting around who never had cash before. New Yelp data reveals the small business boom from the pandemic has real world legs. Bottom line, We had a major pandemic. All of you know that. There's been a resurgence, a growth in small business. That's what the stats show. Yelp is saying, this ain't stopping, baby. This ain't stopping. So congratulations to all of you. By the way, if you started a business after the pandemic, kind of because of the pandemic, maybe you got fired, you got laid off or something like that, could you let me know? Could you let me know? DM me on Instagram, Ramon Ray Smart Hustle. DM me on Instagram, Ramon Ray Smart Hustle. But this is a powerful thing to keep in mind, and Yelp stats show this. Sometimes out of bad things, oftentimes out of bad things, good things are birthed. And Yelp's status, Yelp's insight are showcasing just that very thing. It's not easy to start a business. It's not easy to grow a business. It's very, very difficult. Do you have the right mindset? Do you have the right marketing? Are you targeting the right customers? Are you targeting the right people who need your solutions? Is your price right? It's not easy. But I encourage you to press on, especially if you're on the right track, because as we shared in our previous episode, maybe you're just a few steps away from being where you need to be. My name is Ramon Ray. Again, this is The Rundown with Ramon. If you're just joining us, thank you for being here today. Ding, 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 ding. What's up next? Number 6, coffee makes you healthier. I drink a cup of Cafe Bustelo once a day. Research shows coffee makes you healthier and happier, but if you want to boost your energy level and memory, there's a 7-day catch. 7-day catch. Drink coffee. So here it goes. Coffee can reduce your risk of cancer up to 20%, says this article. Your risk of type 2 diabetes by 30%, and your risk of Parkinson's disease by 30%. As I'm reading this, says a study published in Circulation. Again, talk to your medical doctor, talk to your doctor, talk to other people for insights on this. I'm just the messenger. Found that coffee can reduce the risk of stroke by 20%. A study of over 260,000 people conducted by the NIH, National Institute of Health, that would be found that people who drank 4 or more cups of coffee, 4 or more cups of coffee, that's a lot of coffee, were nearly 10% less likely to become depressed than those who drank none. But I'm guessing those who drank 4 or more cups of coffee, they probably were addicted to their coffee bean, addicted to it. So my point being, there's one catch. Coffee blocks adenosine, a nucleoside that modulates psychological processes from binding to receptors in your brain. When adenosine can't bind, you feel or keep feeling alert and awake. That's one reason why drinking a lot of coffee makes you feel really awake. Even though you're not, you feel that way. Anyways, there's all kinds of studies. You can do this research on your own about coffee, but I thought this was interesting for those of us who like coffee. Now, me, I drink coffee not because I'm addicted to it per se, but I started to drink coffee just because I like the taste. I like the taste of coffee. A nice warm cup of coffee with a little bit of Dunkin' Donuts creamer every single morning, especially when I'm home. Now, when I'm traveling, I take whatever the hotel is or the airport has or et cetera, usually Starbucks, something like that. But what about you? What about you? Do you like coffee? There's no shame in liking a good cup of coffee. Folgers says it right? The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. So my point is, drink a good cup of coffee. All right, moving forward here. Ding, 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 ding. What's up next on the Rundown with Ramon? How to have less staff meetings. I thought this was very, very interesting. Managers tired of too many staff meetings, this simple 5-step approach may be your solution. So let's look at the 5-step approach to having less staff meetings. If that's you, raise your hand. I see you. I see you. You too? I see you. I see you. I see you. It looks like most of us want less staff meetings. So what does this say? Number 1, scheduling. The first and most important step is for the manager to schedule each meeting. If the staff meeting is not scheduled, you're going to probably have a lot more meetings because the right people didn't come to the right meeting at the right time. This demonstrates that you are invested in your employees' growth and development. Number 2, the agenda. The second step is for the employee to provide the agenda. What's the meeting going to be about? What's the meeting going to be about? And if you don't have an agenda, the meeting is probably going to go a little bonkers, a little bozo, a little bit off track. And number 3, the frequency. The next step is to decide how often to have these meetings. The frequency should be determined based on each employee's workload and level of responsibility. Number 4, the focus. Next, did I just say the focus? Number 4, next is knowing what to talk about. During the meeting, the manager should focus on the employee, asking if any questions or issues need to be addressed. Sometimes we can focus on what? We can focus on ourselves in a team meeting, focus on what's important for us, what we want to do. But studies are saying, or the guideline is saying, focus on the staff. Team, what do y'all want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? What is important to you? That's how you can have a rockin' proper staff meeting to understand as people what is important to you. And last but not least, next steps. Finally, it's essential to emphasize commitment to the big picture. What's happening next? What's happening next? That's the way to have team meetings. Listen, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon. All we ask is 30 minutes of your time to give you the top 10 things you need to build your best life or build a better business. Go out today and tell somebody you appreciate them. Go out today and tell somebody that you care for them. Go out today and tell somebody that they matter. Go out today and tell somebody that they're not alone. Go out today and tell somebody that you appreciate them. Go out today and tell somebody that they're needed. Go out today and encourage somebody. We need to do that more and more in the world. Again, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon. I started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, authored 5 books. Let me know how we can serve you more on the Rundown with Ramon. DM me on Instagram, Ramon Ray Smart Hustle, and let's make a difference today. Again, thanks for listening to the Rundown with Ramon.